We are living in a world where it is important to make the most appropriate relationships. Now, one of the greatest skills anyone can have is building healthy relationships. You never know when you need someone's help.
Parents motivated, doing exploits.
You are once again welcome to Graduate Take Off 2021. This is a program we organize for young people, young leaders, young people in the church to equip them for the job market. One thing we realize is that some people pray often and do little about the things they are supposed to do in life. So someone goes to school and all he does is pray, he doesn't learn. Someone gets to work and he's praying all the time, having time for church, not having time to develop himself in the trade he has found himself. But the Bible says concerning Daniel, that Daniel was neither negligent nor ignorant nor corrupt, but he was up to task and he did everything that pleased God, and he was able to function as a prime minister for several dispensations of several kings. That is the young people we want to train at SMI, as Graduate Take Off. We want young people who will be able to fit in world places but still hold their Christian values. We want young people who are not negligent about the things of the world. Young people who, when they get to school, when they get to workplaces, they will be able to stand tall like any other person from any part of the world. Hallelujah. So once again, when it comes to SMI Graduate Take Off 2021, it's all about equipping young people for the job market, equipping young people to become great leaders, and equipping young Christians to take commanding heights in the world. You are all welcome. We ask that you relax, you feel at home, you interact, you ask questions, anything on your mind about the field of work, anything about on your mind about leadership, anything on your mind about Christianity. Today we'll be talking about excellence, and my host will do well to talk deep about those things. So relax, it's about equipping young people for success in the world. Thank you very much.
So today our theme for this year's Graduate Take Off is Pursuing Excellence, a foundation for a successful future. And I think some of the topics that we'll be dealing with are who you know versus what you know. We'll also be looking at pursuing excellence with little resources, and strategies to be exceptional in your career, and then the social media influence, excellence, and then the impact. And today our speakers who will be taking these topics with me here, I would like to introduce them. So we have Pastor Lewal Olenu. A pastor at the Divine Healers Church. He's the HR manager at Cooper Research Institute of Ghana at Tapo. And he is an HR expert and has been practicing for the past 7 years. He has a passion for the things of God and the desires that young people exceed in their vision. And Pastor Olenu lives in Korea with his wife and 4 beautiful kids. Pastor Edith. Pastor Edith Hamano is a lady pastor at the Full Gospel Church of Arabia, and the premises we're using today. Yes. She's a full-time pastor and leads the youth ministry at Full Gospel, and she's versatile and passionate about the work of God. She's also married with 3 kids and lives in Arabia. We also have Pastor Amos Akrusi. He's a training development manager at Alliance Ghana. It's a financial institution that deals with insurance. Pastor Amos is married, recently married, just a few months ago. We have Mrs. Abusia Clayson, a lady pastor, yet to be. She's a pharmacist by profession. She's currently pursuing her Doctor of Pharmacy. She's a lead pharmacist at Pharma. I believe we know that. Yes. She's married to Pastor William Clayson, and she also lives in Korea with her family. I think we'll just go straight into today's program. So on the first, what we want to discuss firstly, what we want to talk about is who you know versus what you know. And I believe Pastor Lemo is taking us through that on the who you know versus what you know. And so we'd like him to give us some information about this topic. And thank you.
Good morning. Good morning. I was actually expecting to be the second speaker. And I'm going to pick up from where the first one left off. So I get to start. So I greet everyone here, especially the resource persons here. I feel honored to be part of it today. Let me find out, how many of you know each other here? Young man, do you know her? Do you know the one behind you? Do you know the gentleman behind you? Did you know them before you got here? You got to know them when you came here?
I know them before.
You know them before you got here. Have you made any new friends when you came?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to talk on a little on who you know versus what you know. You know, in the past, when you're sending your children to school, one of the things you hear parents say is, Kofi, you are going to school. You are going to school to learn, not to make friends. So go and learn. Your friends should be your books. Don't make friends. It's something that most parents used to tell their children back in the day. And in the office, my former boss would say, he came here to work and not to make friends. So in the past, we put emphasis on what you know and on who you know. So it's go to school, learn, get good grades, finish school, graduate, finish your national service, and get a job. Because we lived in a world where the understanding was that a person's worth was basically based on the qualifications he holds. And it still holds true that you need to get a good education. Because when you get good education, it determines the kind of job you do, and it determines the kind of company you work for. But things are changing because now people have come to understand that you need people to be successful. And who you know can make a significant difference. Let me explain something to you. You can be the best at what you do. You could have gone to Rich Church or Madonna. You could go to Presec or Achimota. You could go to Legon or KNUST. You could finish with a first class. Even where to send your application is a problem. Because I'm sure you've realized by now that people are not called because they submit applications. Sometimes you can send your application to 100 places, none of them will call you. Because what most companies do, the prestigious companies do these days, they don't advertise. They prefer references. So I work there, so I introduce you to the company, and then the company calls you, and they prefer that because what happens is when they use someone they know as a reference, then it means that first and foremost we know who you are connected to. So the understanding is that birds of a feather flock together. So then if we know the person, then we have a pretty good idea who you are. And it also means that you have a pretty good idea of what the company is and what the company wants. So we don't have people coming to the company with wrong expectations. So who you know helps. What you know should always be a basis. You should never dream of getting to a place without actually having what it takes to get there. It should never be your career goal to get promoted without merit. But there are limits to where what you know goes. Recently, my company wanted to recruit about 300 people. And we had to advertise because our HR policy requires that we should advertise internally. If we don't get the people, then we advertise externally. So we decided to find a very small portion in a very uncommon newspaper to go and advertise. And obviously, we didn't mention the company's name. We had over 10,000 applications. I remember when I called the media house for it, they said, I told them I'm coming to pick it up. I said, are you bringing a truck? And I was like, no, I'm coming in a saloon car. I was like, no, you need a truck. Well, I thought he was joking, but actually they brought 10 full sacks, cocoa sacks of applications. So he gets to my office, I look at my subordinates, I tell them that there is no way we are sorting through this. Tell the staff, if they know somebody who has this criteria or meets this standard, they should tell them to come, or they should bring the applications. So 10,000 people who applied away. And then we did that, and then we got, even that one we still had too many. So then we start. So who brought this person? this one. Okay, so this person is hardworking. So it's possible he brought the hardworking people. Let's shortlist them. Then we shortlist them. Then when we get there, psychologically, if your MD brings someone, psychologically the person has passed. Because you value your job. So already the pass mark was 60, but some people had already gotten 50 before they even started. But then we'll ask you basic questions that require what you know. So if I'm asking you a question about agric, they ask someone who is supposed to have a master's in entomology, what is an insect? And he says an insect is a small creature that causes harm. Then my MD is like, Jesus, I'm a pest. Because my MD is smallish. So it's like, oh, I'm a pest. If a 6-year-old or a GSS person defined an insect like that, but someone with a master's. So even though that person was recommended, we had to put an asterisk there. So he had the who you know, but the what you know didn't help him. And so that is basically what the world is becoming. 2 people go for the same job interview. One is referred by A, one is referred by the board chairman. See where we are going? 2 people go for scholarship. They are apart, the same qualification, the same class, they have everything the same. One of them was referred by a known person. The other person is the best friend of the dean's son. The dean, the faculty that is giving the scholarship. The best friend, the son's best friend is also there. What do you think will happen? So we live in a world where we need people. So that idea, those days when you get a job and they say, who do you know? Then he's like, look, Kofi, this job you've gotten, don't tell anybody you are related to me. Don't tell them. Those days are past. Now people, if they could even write it on their forehead, they will write on their forehead who brought them. Because when you know who brought them, it will advise you on how to deal with them. So we are living in a world now where what you know will get you to one point, but who you know will get you above. I work in a company where, I think it's all over. The higher you go, it's no longer what you know that counts, but who you know. Because the higher you go, you realize that you are all basically at the same level. So you need someone to hold your hand and pull you up. My company, when you get to manager, after manager, you don't get promoted. You have to be appointed. I know a man who, what would have taken people 20 years, took him 4 months. Simply because the gentleman was the C's younger brother. I still thank you for the home show we shared together. So the C is like, he's like, yes, I know him. He was my friend. Very smart boy. Okay, promoted, appointed, position, he gets it. But because he had he had the qualifications, he excelled. So we are living in a world where it is important to make the most appropriate relationships. Now, one of the greatest skills anyone can have is building healthy relationships. You never know when you need someone's help. I just met Amos for the first time today. We started talking. He goes to a church I have a lot of respect for. One of his members was a member of my church. And then he mentions his brother, older brother, right? Yeah. His older brother, who was a friend of mine, still a friend of mine. So when he said that, then I saw a green light in my head. Bing! So if Amos walks to my office, or he calls me and says, oh, my sister is coming for internship, can you help? Even if there's no vacancy, because of that link we've created, I'll find a vacancy. So that is the way it's working. So when you come for programs like this, get to know people. It pays to be nice. Be nice to everyone, not just people you think on the top. Be nice to people down there. You'll be surprised that a security man has access to the CE when the manager himself can't get access to the CE. Because people are interconnected in more ways than we can understand. So we have to understand that God rules in the affairs of men. But like Selassie said, prayer is an act of faith. So you don't pray all night and go and sleep. The Bible said when Jesus prayed all night, what did he do? He went out and chose his disciples. Prayer is an act of faith. So when you pray, you go out and you do something. The Bible also says that a horse is prepared for battle, but victory comes from the Lord. But there is a preparation. And that is what you know. The who you know, as a child of God, you need to believe that God will bring the right people to you. But in your own way, be nice to everyone. Be polite to everyone. Be honest to everyone. The one lie, the day you tell a lie, you might tell a lie to someone who could have helped you. I always tell women who want to get married that be careful which men you bounce. Because men are such that when you bounce them, when women, when they are rejected, they keep quiet. They just cry and their pillow suffers. But when you bounce a man, he tells all his friends. So a lady who is rude to a man, she has already lost several men, because they will tell them that this is the kind of lady you are. So be nice, be honest, be helpful. Study as much as you can, and then make as many healthy interconnections as you can. And then God, who makes all things beautiful in his time, will make it beautiful. So the what you know is essential. It should be the basis. It should be the foundation. But you need to understand that after you get the what you know, or in the process of getting what you know, get the who you know. Make the links, make the connections. Don't target people. So, okay, I want to get into this company, so I'm targeting the HR manager. It might work, but you'll be surprised that maybe if you target the HR manager's wife, or if you get to know the HR manager's son, it could help. You know, in as much as we make friends, you should be strategic. I'm not saying stalk people, but if you want to be an engineer, engineers have associations, they have groups, go join them. You might just meet someone. If you want to be an engineer, you don't hang out all your time with pastors. You know, you need to choose where you go. But I'm going to end this so that we have more time for discussion. But we need to understand that what you know, if you know what you know well, you can also make friends. The Bible says that find a man who is skilled in his job, and he will not serve before ordinary men. He will serve before princes. If you are really good at what you do, people will get to know. People will get to know. So for starters, whatever it does, the excellence is the quality of being outstanding or exceptional in what you do. Be excellent. In one of the undergrad graduations, I think it was graduations, Ace and Kuma said that where people sit, stand. When people stand, be outstanding. And when people become outstanding, be the standard. So that's excellence. Do the excellence. But as you go along, know that it is people that will help you. So be nice to everyone, and you never know. You might just help the one person that can make a difference in your life. Thank you.
You'd want to add any suggestions or any contributions on the who you know versus what you know? No. Okay, so I'm just going to give a quick example on what he spoke about. So recently, my younger brother, he had, he used to work for Coca-Cola. He was on contract basis, and they were sacked from job in December. And my supervisor, my former supervisor, he was a board chairman of CSIR. So I used to speak to him regularly and talk to him about jobs. And recently he told me, there's an opening for a job. So I told him that, my brother is looking for a job. He did chemistry. So is it possible that he could get in? And then he said, that's not a problem. So we sent the application. So I called him and told him, look, CSR made an advert in the newspapers, and he said, no, bring the application to me. So we wrote the application, did everything, his papers, CV and everything, and then we sent it to him. And then he forwarded it to the place. And in less than 2 weeks, he was called for an interview, and then he got the job. Now, when he got the job, and he got there, the HR said, we are transferring you to Akosombo. And then I had to call him again and told him, Prof, this is what they intend to do. And then he said, give me a minute. So he called me back and said, it's settled. And that's it. So he's been working there for just about 3 weeks now. And that's it. So I think really who you know matters. It does a lot. And then the what you know, when he went for the interview, obviously they asked him questions about chemistry. And I believe if he didn't have any knowledge about it, it would have been a shame. Not to him alone, even to the person who brought him. So the what you know also matters.
And then I remembered something of mine. So Interpharma has been looking for medicine counter assistants to work with for about 2 weeks now. And so we contacted someone, like Pastor Limo said, currently we don't just put out applications or, requests for people. We would want to rather contact people who know credible individuals to work with. And unfortunately, one person just put it on WhatsApp platform, and the person contacted. So he came through for an interview. So I asked him to then, bring your documents for an interview and everything. So the gentleman came just like Kiddy, and with no application letter, no CV, basically nothing, because he's been recommended to come. And so I asked her, so where's your letter? And why are you dressed like Kiddy? and where's your CV? And then so I said, you know what, we really do need people. And for the fact that it's this gentleman who asked you to come, why don't you go to the nearest cafe, get yourself some, just look through the internet, get a template for a CV, do an application letter, and hurry up and come back. So I gave an opportunity. But guess what? He didn't come back. He didn't come back. So what it does for the person who then recommended you is that it blocks access. It blocks access. So relationships are very important. Who you know is very important. And sometimes the way someone, for instance, an opportunity was given to your brother, if he hadn't proven himself, if in the nearest future you needed anything else, your opportunity will be blocked. So sometimes it's very important who you recommend as well, and you yourself would also have to then put yourself in a situation where you don't become a block for someone's access. So that's a little thing I wanted to add to what you just said.
I could see that from what she said, you should have this sibling relation too. Sibling relation. You should respect your brother or your sister, because in the house we have sibling rivalry, isn't it? Unnecessary rivalry. And sometimes you think your sister or your brother can never help you in any way. The people that you know, do you know what they can do for me? But your helper is your neighbor, and it's your family, close to you, like a sister, a brother. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, any questions from the audience? Please, this is your chance to ask questions. Okay, so last.
So 3 questions. We are in a large class. How do I figure out this person and then be strategic with my colleagues and even the lecturers? Then it's my nature to be quiet and in my cool corner. How do I break out of it? Thank you.
Thank you. So let me attempt the first 2 and leave the third one. Because when I was going to school, my mom never told me, don't make friends, because I wasn't friendly. I was one mean little boy. So she's like, please, the other people in the class are other people's children. Go easy on them. I was a very mean boy, so she didn't tell me that. So lastly, the thing about life is we are not, the reason God doesn't tell us what's going to happen tomorrow is because it would modify our behavior today. You are not supposed to know who's going to be prominent before you are nice to them. You are supposed, like she said, you are supposed to be nice to everyone. So we have what we call acts of random kindness. Your neighbor is anybody who is in need. So be nice to everyone, because the fact is, nobody knows tomorrow. I started in the class with a boy who we felt was the most useless creature God could ever have made. He wouldn't go for class, he wouldn't do anything. I later got to know that both of his parents were professors with the UN. All he needed was a pass. In third class was enough to get him out of the country. And there we were learning our heads off, and none of us schooled outside, but he did. So some of those things you don't really, so be nice to everyone. When it comes to lecturers, I have learned the hard way that some people like me will know and will never contribute in class. Some people are like that. They will never contribute in class. They will know, but they won't. If you're in a class and you want to be seen by your lecturer, when your lecturer asks a question that you know the answer, please get up and speak. If you have a sensible question, there's some questions, I say sensible because there are some questions you ask and everybody in the class will turn and look at you. Did you really ask that? But there are some questions you ask and everybody will nod the head. When you have one of the nod head questions, please ask. I wanted to go and read a master's in the US. I got everything. I needed a recommendation letter. I went to one of the professors. He said, were you in my class? I said, yes. He said, how many classes? I said, took 3 classes, like, what grades did you get? I said, A minus. It's like, you got A minus in my class and I don't know you. Okay, I recommend you. His recommendation wasn't anything. This gentleman was in my class. He was a student. These are his grades. Thank you. He didn't add anything. He said he didn't know me. He said if I had been an A student, he would have known me, because then I would have come to him. I would have contributed in class. Would have had one-on-one discussions. I didn't do any of those things, so he can't recommend me. So for the lecturers, be seen. Ask questions. Contribute. See them after class. Let them know you. But as for who to be kind to everyone, because the next person by you might be an angel and you won't know. So the other question, the last question, he's saying he's not very friendly. He doesn't know how to talk to people. So how does he network?
That you need to start from somewhere. In life, you have to learn. I mean, nobody was born with a complete makeup. Do you get it? Now, we have basically 4 temperaments. We have the choleric, we have the melancholic, we have the phlegmatic, and then the last one is the sanguine. Okay. Now, each of these temperaments have a strength and a weakness. Do you get it? And you would always have to look at your weakness and develop it over time. Okay, so naturally a melancholic is not a type who would open up to people. Okay, and that weakness that weakness can cost you. Do you get it? Now, one of the things that you have to know as an individual is that life, the room for learning is very wide. There is no limit to it. Okay, so at any point in time in your life, you should not be too dogmatic or static or rigid. You get what I'm trying to say? You must give yourself the chance to learn something new. If you are not learning anything new, you are not going anywhere in life. Do you get it? So you know that you are not that type. You must start from somewhere. You must start from your friends, the people you are close to. In fact, I've come to realize that everybody knows how to talk. It depends on what you are interested in. I'm telling you, there are some people in class, you see them quiet, everything. When you come outside and you're talking about soccer, football, hey, the way they are talking and all that. So you know how to talk, just that you don't channel it well. Everybody has a place to talk. Sometimes you don't talk in class and all that, but when you go to the house, hey, the way the person is talking to his mother, her mother, his friends, his brothers and all that, you'll be amazed. You get it? So I think that you should be willing to learn no matter what. Okay? And start with the people you are close to. Start with your friends. Start with people you can easily chat with and all that. And channel that into things that will help you positively. Okay? So don't limit yourself. Don't think that this is how I am, so that is all I can do. Do you get it? Now, God is a very versatile God. The fact that there is a sanguine means that sanguinism is important. The fact that there is a choleric, it means that being a choleric is important. So all the temperaments have its strength. And the fact that you are not good in the other does not mean you should not develop into it. Do you get it? So find out what is your weakness and develop it. Learn how to be a sanguine. Basically, my wife is a sanguine. You can easily make friends with people. When it comes here, you just laugh, everything and all that. I'm not that type. But I have to learn. Because, connections he's talking about and all that. If you are not the type who knows how to relate to people and all that, you are not going anywhere in life. In fact, they said that in about 5 years' time, you continue to be where you are with the exception of 2 things. The books you read and the people you meet. You will be there. You'll be stuck. Salasi, you're talking about Miriam. Miriam was just a friend. In church and all that, the opportunity came at Alliance and whatever. I knew people who were actually qualified for that position even more than Miriam. But because I have a relationship with Miriam, I connected her. And now she's working with Alliance. Do you get it? So, listen, don't be static in your mind. Don't think that, I can't do this. Maybe I'm not this type. That was how I was born. It can cost you a lot. Okay, so always give room to learn something new. Okay, thank you very much.
You see, it's very good that you're here. And I'm thinking that by the time you leave here, there should be something really different with you. You know, once you're leaving, you're not leaving with just the principles, but like we are all sharing life. Jack Ma says something, he says that learn from the stories, the failure stories, other than the success stories. So we are telling you things that make people fail and things that are making people succeed. And we are saying that when it comes to relationship, break that bond and advance to, you know, taking that territory that you think that, oh, it's out of my comfort zone. So what am I trying? I'm trying to say that at the end of the day, if sometimes you want to make a point or bring out something that is excellent, it will require you moving out of your comfort zone. When I was in JSS, long story back, but very relevant today, I stood for a position that was a senior prefect. And I thought I was good, you know, and I thought people liked me. So let me just stand for the senior prefectship. So they came vetting, and you had to go to the staff common room for a meeting, meet the staff and all that. So 2 teachers vehemently opposed me. And I felt I was good. I felt I got A's. But then they were like, no, we think you are too, they used a particular word, which meant that I wasn't outspoken. You know, I shied away from people. I was always quiet, and I was timid. That's what they felt, because in their class, so just like Pastor Amos said, when it came to certain classes, I would be very quiet and try to assimilate what they are saying. And when it came to certain other subjects as well, I'll be very, very, you know, loud and asking the questions like Pastor Lemon had said. So the places where I had kept quiet, now these 2 teachers vehemently opposed me, because they knew that if they had brought me out, because I was known by the people and loved by the people, they would definitely vote outrightly. So now there had to be a contention between them. And then I was like, wow, that's a lesson. Fast forward, I didn't change. I didn't change. I just told myself, I'm a melancholic. We gave just one trait. You always have a mixture of them in you. It's up to you to harness either the sanguine or the phlegmatic or the choleric. It's up to you to harness it. So the fact that you've not brought, it's not that it's not in you. You have to tap into and move out of that comfort zone and tap into that strength that lies in there. So then we came up to, you know, after secondary school, there was an opportunity to teach somewhere. There was this one lady, Ajua Boatima, you know, she's like, whistle, everybody, she's there. You know, those kind of people. Hey, hi, my name is Ajua, please, can I take your contact? She's like that. So people knew her. And my headmistress loved her. When it came to certain opportunities, they'll give it to Ajua, and I'll be there. Even to the point where when our certificates, our results had come, and we had to go back to school to go and take our results. Ajua just went, hello, madam, please, I'd like to go back to Wesley Girls High School to go and take it. Oh, right, signed, approved. I was like, oh, okay. Ajua, she approved for you. Oh, this one, the favor. I'm going some. So I just took my bag. I said, oh, hello, madam, please, I'd like to go to St. Rose's to go and go. Disapprove? No, you can't. I'm like joke like this. She didn't let me go because she felt, and sometimes it's because we are not ready to serve. One of the easiest ways is answering Salati's first question, that out of the thousands, how do I become recognized? Serve. So if your lecturer is coming and 10 people are rushing to go and take the bag, you to rush some. Yes, rush some. Even if sometimes the question may be very stupid, ambiguous in a way, but you ask it all the same. Yes, you ask it all the same. How many of us are watching Date Rush? Date Rush? No, those who watch this, they are not going to hell. Date Rush. So there's this, I was initially not watching because I felt like, oh, this is a waste of time and blah, blah, blah. But I was like, okay, let me just tune in to get the perspectives of other people on other issues. So there's this gentleman, none agreeing about that social media sometimes because he can ask the ladies questions upon questions upon questions. Hi, oh, I'll take you to and make promises. They be any bounce no. But out of the squad, his image or his face is still imprinted in my mind. You know, I think he was one of the most annoying guys on set, but his image is forever imprinted in my mind. And what am I saying? I'm saying that even if it's just a little tiny thing that you can do, that will make you stand out. So remember, it's about standing out, the excellence. Unless you want to be ordinary. Today we have not come and tell you be ordinary, stand out, no. You have to pinch yourself a little bit to get out of your comfort zone and be recognized. Thank you.
Please, do we have any more questions? Any more questions? Okay, so I believe we can move on to our next topic, which is pursuing excellence with little resources. And our resource personnel on this is Pastor Edith.
I thought I'm the fourth one.
I'm sorry.